SportzBlitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of SportzBlitz Live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the latest edition of SportzBlitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air here on this Tuesday afternoon and night. Glad that you've joined us out there, wherever it is that you may be joining us for the next couple of hours here on SportzBlitz Live. Brett Pritchard alongside of Luke Robinson tonight, so we'd love to hear from you. The phone number, if you're watching us on TV, 256-234-6221. If you're driving around in your car, you can give us a call. Always can comment away on Facebook Live. Go to our SportzBlitz page, Sports with a Z. If you like our page, you get that notification when we go live each and every day for either Auburn Blitz or SportzBlitz Live or whenever we go. We go live a lot. So when we go live, you get that notification. You can tune us in that way. You also can catch us later on. If you can't catch us live, you can pick us up and watch us whenever you get an opportunity to watch. So we're also trying to pull out clips of each show and, things that, really stand out during the show. So
I was going to say, or Dad, you can just text us at this point. I mean,
we can. I mean, that's not the only thing I left out, wasn't it? But so that, fax, call, whatever else you want to do. Anyway, we'd love to hear from you, however you would like to interact with us. A lot to go through tonight here on the program. Auburn with their A-Day game. We'll talk a lot about Auburn and Alabama tonight. Alabama's A-Day game coming up. Auburn's in the books, as I said, and we'll talk about some of the guys that that kind of stood out in this game and what really Auburn needs to look forward to as far as heading into fall practice, which won't be very far off. We'll also talk about some of the latest rankings of coaches in this league, and for Auburn fans, probably not going to be real happy. If you're Brian Harsin, you got a lot to prove. I'll say this, you can't go down much further. If you go down, you're out.
well, if they go down, they're already including Oklahoma and Texas.
That's right. So we'll talk about that. We'll do a little true false, a little over-under, who you got, a little fun times. And SEC baseball, I'd be remiss if I didn't start with that a little bit, Luke. I know that's not the top priority for you, especially most of the time. But right now, Auburn and Alabama really getting it done in the SEC, and Alabama with a big sweep of Ole Miss, which really unreal. Auburn and Alabama sitting right there, one game out of first place behind Arkansas there in the West. You look at Mississippi State and Ole Miss; they're down at the bottom at 4-8. A&M's right behind Auburn and Alabama at 7-5, but Alabama's 21-12 and Auburn's 22-10. So, good deal for them. After right now sitting there at 12 games into the season, or 12 games into SEC play, Auburn and Alabama both over 500, and have had played some really, really tough competition to this point and been able to win. And again, I'm proud to see them both ranked now in the top 25. Auburn 17, Alabama 24. So the state of Mississippi, which has been dominating baseball here in the SEC for quite some time, Auburn and Alabama having a little bit of a jolt now. Again, you play 30 SEC games. They've only played 12 so far. So it's a long, grueling season. Every weekend it's rough. But glad to see that. And then, of course, Tennessee. I don't know what they're doing. 12-0, 31-1 in overall number one in the country. I mean, they are just dominating everybody they play.
They really are. I've never seen a start like this in baseball. They're kind of a –
not in this conference.
No, they've got a cocky swagger about them. Follow a couple of their beat reporters. They showed the highlight of last week against Missouri. One of their players came in, slid in,
right.
and the ball got away from the catcher, so he just took his index finger and touched the base like that. I've never seen anybody do that before. He was just, just to be cocky. And I guess, I don't really care because it's baseball. If it were football, I'd be a little bit more, but I don't really care. I mean, it does bring a little bit of excitement to a game that I usually find boring, quite frankly. But I'll say this, that I have actually been following on ESPN Plus some of the Alabama games. Just
amazing what winning will do.
Well, it is. I mean,
seriously. That's
true. But it's not like I was watching it with all this intent, like throwing the phone if they gave up a hit, because.
But if they'd won 2 games to this point, you probably wouldn't be tuning in at all.
No, I probably wouldn't tune in at all. But
a sweep of Ole Miss.
They go to Ole Miss, who was at one time ranked number 1 in the country, and they sweep them. I mean, it's pretty incredible. And it wasn't like Ole Miss didn't take it seriously. Those stands were packed. I mean, they were jammed up.
Ole Miss and Mississippi State are going to jam it out every time they go, every time they open the park. So
and Alabama won today. They played Belmont and won today, so they're 22-12, I guess. Auburn's playing Samford right now. I know Auburn, I think, travels to Mississippi State this weekend.
Right.
Alabama travels to Tennessee. Tennessee is not lost in this conference.
Let me tell you something. They're going to lose at some point.
Agreed.
Hey, and I don't. Missouri had a couple chances to beat them this weekend, and kind of faltered. And look, somebody's going to get them. And if I'm Alabama right now, I'm going. Why not us? Hey, we're playing good baseball. Let's go up there and take our best. Give them our best shot.
The only thing that worries me, and again, I'm not going to pretend to be a baseball aficionado, but it seems like this Alabama team is prone to give up a lot of home runs. Tennessee is a team that hits a boatload of home runs. They lead the conference by a long shot.
But I'm going to say something about Bohannon at Alabama. He has done. I remember in the beginning of the season, they didn't get off to the best start this year, and I remember us talking about it and some Alabama fans a little, upset with some of the games that they lost. And I know Brad Bohannon from a standpoint of his pedigree of where he came from and how he got to be this head coach at Alabama. He's a dang good recruiter, and he's a good coach too. But he's a dang good recruiter, and he built Kentucky's program up. Then he was hired by Butch Thompson at Auburn and did a really good job of recruiting some really good players to Auburn, and then got an opportunity to be a head coach. And, he took it, and he's done well at Alabama. And right now, with Auburn and Alabama kind of being behind the 8 ball in this conference with funding and the way things go, both of those guys, which Butch Thompson and Brad Bohannon, are really good friends. And they're getting it done, man. And, against all odds, despite the odds. And so you look over and on the eastern side, and it's usually Vanderbilt and Florida at the top of the heap. And right now you got Tennessee and Georgia. Georgia's been a bottom dweller in baseball for a long time, and Tennessee really hasn't done very much until the last couple of years. But now you got Tennessee and Georgia, and then I thought Auburn had a huge series win over Vanderbilt at home. So Auburn's won 4 consecutive series and 5 dating back to last season. So this is these two teams, Auburn and Alabama, hot right now, and that's what you got to be. You got to hit the baseball. That's what Alabama. I noticed Alabama scores. I didn't see any of their games, Luke, but I noticed their score. Man, they won an extra inning game. I think 12-10. They're hitting the baseball, and that's what it takes.
Yeah, and a couple of times they could have won it without the extra innings, but the bullpen sort of gave up some home runs, I think, late in the second game. And that hurt them, but they ended up winning. And I mean, like you said, right now, I think I'm not going to complain about winning in any way, shape, form, or fashion, because this Alabama team has lost to some bad squads in the midweek games. And you're right about Tennessee, but Alabama and Auburn both have Tennessee on the road down the to face coming up. I know Alabama has to play LSU. I think Auburn's
already played LSU. Went to LSU and won.
Yeah, I think Auburn's got South Carolina and Georgia on the schedule still.
Right.
Alabama, I know, still has they've already played Mississippi State. See, they blew.
It's hard. Every week's hard.
The SEC is a grind. I mean, it's a grind in everything, but baseball is – I'd say baseball is probably different than all of them, because while you're a threat to lose to just about anybody in football or basketball – like in baseball.
Right.
I mean, when your worst team is Mississippi State, which arguably has the best tradition in baseball
Right.
in the conference,
And
that's when you know, okay.
And they're
this is
on
a tough
hard
year.
times right now. You know, this is not the start. Now, Mississippi State did lose a lot last year, but they usually replenish. But right now, Ole Miss at 19-12. I know they didn't expect to be at that part or at that point, 12 games into the conference season. But it is what it is. And, again, the goal is really to try to be a 500 team in conference, and Auburn and Alabama are halfway there. I mean, they've won 7 ball games. And if you look at it from an Alabama standpoint, if they go get a win in Tennessee, Tennessee wins the series. Tennessee probably win the series at home. But if Alabama can get one, that'll be their first SEC loss, and it's guaranteed to escape Knoxville still with a winning record in conference play.
Yeah,
so I mean, you look on the road, you got to steal a game.
Yep.
And at home, you got to win your series. And if you have an opportunity to get a sweep, man, that's icing on the cake. And that's the difference right now with Alabama. Being able to get that 3 wins there at Ole Miss, I mean, it's put them in really good position here.
Well, you went over there thinking if we can just steal one and you end up getting a sweep, it's pretty crazy.
Bohannon's a good coach.
Yeah,
man.
he is. And I'm enjoying watching softball, too, which I know we'll save for another segment. But
Right.
I've been enjoying that. I mean, it's out. Arkansas, Alabama.
Arkansas swept Auburn this weekend. And
Arkansas is tough.
well, two really close games, one that got away from Auburn, but at Fayetteville, again, you have an opportunity to win a close game and you let it slip away. That adds up over time throughout a season. But, we'll come back and talk about that a little bit more. But we're just getting started up against our first break here on SportzBlitz Live.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Welcome back, everyone, to SportzBlitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. You see the Sunshine Heating and Air logo there on the screen. And again, Kevin Keel is a good friend of ours and a big-time supporter of SportzBlitz programming all the way around. He's a big Alabama fan, but he loves watching and listening to Auburn Blitz, Saturday Sports Countdown. He's a big high school guy. He understands the love of especially football in this state, high school and what the draw is. And so, but Sunshine Heating and Air, he runs a phenomenal business. If you need heating and air work, you need a new unit, you call on them. They're stand up as far as customer service. So glad to have them and have had them for a long time. I don't know, which one shall we pick?
I say you go with one.
Well, we're going to go with two because one ain't lit up.
Okay, well then go with two.
Caller, go ahead. You're on SportzBlitz.
Yeah, let me get in on 22. I don't have no volume on my remote.
Okay.
How y'all doing?
We're good.
How are you?
Okay.
We're good.
Yeah, I called the man over there, and I told him I try not to bother y'all too much.
Oh, you're doing good, brother. Don't worry about that.
Ah, what's up?
I was watching, on the other channel, Auburn playing on SEC.
Okay.
Yeah, they play in Sanford.
Yeah, and I was watching a little of it.
Okay.
But they need
We're glad you flipped the channel.
well, it was getting a little boring to me, so I thought I'd see what y'all had to say.
Well, good. Well, flip the channel. If you don't like it, you can flip it on.
Out there playing around. I got a great nephew plays Little League baseball.
Yes, sir.
And I went up there and watched him last night.
Okay.
And y'all talk about baseball and stuff like that. But I don't think I know Alabama lost that softball game last night, but I thought Alabama's going to come back and beat them. Them girls got the batting right at the end of the ball game. Yeah. I think it wound up about 10-7, something like that.
Yeah, 12-7, I think.
Yeah, but they sure was hitting that. They sure came back hitting.
All right.
Can I ask you one more question? I'll hang up.
Yes, sir.
You told me the other day that Benjamin Russell don't play Huffman anymore, right?
They're not on the schedule this year.
Who replaced him?
I'd have to go back and look. The whole thing's, you change regions. The first two games of the season will be Sylacauga and Central Clay, both on the road out of the gate. So I'd have to go back and see who they replaced as a non-region opponent. But then they kept.
We played Sylacauga played Sylacauga the last game of the season last year.
That's right. We played them the first game this year.
So they don't usually play regions on the last game.
No.
And if you ever find out.
Yeah, we'll get you an update. Spring game coming up against Catholic here in a couple weeks, so that ought to be good.
Sir?
Spring game, Benjamin Russell against Montgomery Catholic here in a couple weeks.
Oh, you know what that day is? I'd like to go to that.
May 13th. It's in Montgomery.
Oh, in Montgomery, okay.
That's not that far, though. Yeah, don't let that deter you from making the trip.
Hey, is Alabama 8-day game going to be on ESPN Saturday?
I think it's going to be on SEC Network Plus. I don't think it's going to be on ESPN, no.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I heard somebody say it's going to be on ESPN. What Jerry Burnett said.
Right.
He's a big Alabama guy. So.
Well, Charles, we appreciate it, brother. We got to roll, okay, buddy?
Oh, okay. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Caller, go ahead. You're on SportzBlitz.
Yes, I wanted to make a comment to Brett and Luke. Brett is one of my favorite people that I listen to on there. I mean, he is so knowledgeable. It's unreal. We agree on 110% of everything he says. But I wanted to say something to Luke. I got to watch a little bit Saturday. I didn't get to watch much, but he's the one that answered the recruiting question, and I got to say he gave me a 101 in recruiting. I've never heard anybody explain it like he did, and I think he's probably as knowledgeable as anybody on recruiting. And that's what I just mainly wanted to comment, and I wanted to thank Luke for his what he, the information he gave me Saturday. And as football season comes on, I'll probably call y'all more because I'm deep into football. But anyway, I like you guys, and like I say, Brett is just so far. I watch him every chance I get, and he's good. So
Morris, we
hang
appreciate
up and
you,
listen to you guys, and I'm enjoying it.
Thank you, buddy.
Morris.
Hey, appreciate you. And yeah, Morris been watching us here for the last several months, and appreciate his phone calls. And I promise I didn't pay him to do that. So, caller, go ahead. You're on Sports Blitz.
This is Brian from Atlantic.
Hey,
There
Brian.
he is. What's up?
Alabama won today in baseball against Alabama. They won 31 in the 7 straight wins.
Yeah, that's right.
Straight wins. Man.
Ranked 24th in the nation and number 2 in the nation in softball.
Yes, sir. I mean, despite the loss yesterday in softball, they still look pretty good. To go to Gainesville and get 2, you feel good.
Wade Tompkins beating Towson softball 12-6 and headed to the 7th.
When you move on, you move on.
I know when you move. I like it.
You got to keep up.
He's
man.
like it's like the scroll on the bottom of ESPN
Hey,
channel.
yeah, no more discussion about Alabama.
And Moore County Panthers are 23-9 in softball, ranked 5th in the state.
Wow. Okay.
That's pretty impressive. Having a good year.
And the JV's like 23-2 and 1 tie.
Well, Brian, give us a quick outlook, a way too early prediction on SEC football.
I'm going to go with Alabama win the West.
That's the way to go out on a limb.
Florida win the East?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, where does Auburn fall into that?
3rd or 4th.
3rd or 4th?
Oh, I thought he said 34th.
No,
I'm sorry.
3rd or 4th.
I'm sorry. That's why I laughed so hard. I swear I thought he said
plays
34th.
at Atlantic Monday night in baseball next Monday night in Atlantic.
Well, good
All
deal,
right,
Brian.
thank you, Brian.
Hey, Brian, thank you, brother.
I swear, Brett, I thought he said 34th, and I just lost it.
And maybe by the time it's all over. but anyway, yeah, we appreciate all the phone calls. Y'all
That
keep
is
them
great.
rolling. 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. I hope we're not 34th in a league of 14.
Well,
3rd or 4th. Hey, look, man, I'll take that right now. I'll take
34th
Auburn.
in the nation. Yeah, you'll
Well,
take.
no, I'll take 3rd or 4th in the
3rd
West.
or 4th. Okay, yeah, okay.
I'll take 3rd or 4th in the
you
West.
would take 3rd or 4th in the West. Yeah, because I'm going to tell you, look, and we'll talk about this in a second, but Alabama and A&M and all the predictions we're seeing so far, it's Alabama, A&M. They most everybody has them each losing 1, but Alabama beating A&M because it's in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
And then
Both losses.
it's kind of up for grabs.
Both losses to us.
Both losses to Auburn. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
That's where it would be.
But boy, I mean, it is kind of up for grabs after that. Everybody's got a lot of questions.
If Auburn could, and look, I know we'll get into this, and I know they got a lot of things that have got to fall into place, but it is not beyond the realm of possibility for Auburn to finish anywhere from 7th to 3rd. I mean,
I agree with
anywhere in that realm, depending on who is the quarterback and what kind of play they can get from that person. If they can't get consistent quarterback play, they're going to be more toward the bottom. If they can get somebody to step in there that gets comfortable and then can move the football and keep possessions, which is not going to be T.J. Finley. So it's either going to be Robbie Ashford or probably Zach Calzada. If they can get production from there, they could end up somewhere around that 3rd position.
Well, let's talk about AD when we get back because I was able to watch a lot of it. Certainly have some thoughts on it. I know you do.
Yeah,
did you go?
No, I watched it, but we had prom this weekend, my son's senior prom, so there was a lot going on, so I wasn't able to get to the game, but I did watch it. So we'll talk about that when we come back. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local Cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
When the Lake Martin area wants country, it turns to Kalijah Country 97.5. Lake Martin's best country.
Goes like 1 margarita, 2 margarita, 3 margarita shot.
If the house just keeps on winning, I got a wild card up my sleeve.
Now his grandpa's never died.
Lake Martin's best country is on Kalijah Country 97.5.
Re-elect Richard LeGrand Sr., Lee County Commissioner, District 5. Why? Work with the Beauregard community with the EF4 tornado devastation to sort through debris, help restructure lives for the people that lost homes, establish Juneteenth as a paid holiday in Lee County. A playground at Lochapoka to include 4 acres with a playground, service, organized trash collection on Lochapoka roadsides. Whether you vote absentee ballot or you go to the polls, please re-elect yours truly, Richard LeGrand Sr., Lee County Commissioner, District 5. Paid for by friends of Richard LeGrand Sr.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
Welcome back, everyone. Halfway through the first hour here on SportzBlitz Live. Appreciate the calls. Keep them coming. 256-234-6221. You can comment on Facebook. We'll slide over. Auburn had their A-Day game this past Saturday. We'll talk about that now, Luke, as far as overall perception of what this team is. Now, again, Auburn with a lot of injuries. They had lots of guys out that are going to be playing in the fall that did not get any snaps in this A-Day game. You know, normally you don't get much out of an A-Day game anyway, but I will say this, because of the injuries, because of the lack of depth, this was probably the most vanilla, most non-interesting, really, as far as from a complexity standpoint, simple spring game I've ever watched an Auburn team play. And it was good to see some guys that we wanted to see that haven't worn an Auburn uniform yet, a la Robbie Ashford, Holden Gariner, some of those guys. But for the most part, there wasn't a lot to get out of this thing. And Auburn, look, I'm going to be frank with everybody. They just don't have a lot of players right now. There's just not a lot to choose from. And this has got to be a point of urgency for Brian Harsin, who we'll talk about coaching rankings here in a couple segments. But Brian Harsin has got to understand the urgency of getting not just players in here, but really good players and in a hurry, because it's only going to get worse after this year for Auburn if they don't do it. And look, frankly, it's really inexcusable. Auburn and Alabama's roster should never get to a point where they're that depleted. It just shouldn't happen unless they've had something catastrophic happen. And look, I know that the failed coup and all that junk, but this is on Brian Harsin from last year, carried momentum into this year. And I know Gus Malzahn didn't leave it in the best shape. I mean, this class was currently in the 40s when he hightailed it out. But he's got to get on it. It's his circus now. It's his red wagon, whatever you want to call it, whatever analogy you want to call it. He owns this now, and so the responsibility to get good players in here, and Auburn just got a commitment out of a 4-star safety, which is a good player. I mean, he's going to be a really good player, I think. But, there's other needs. There's a lot of needs, especially line positions. But I'll start with quarterback position, and we'll go from there. I don't need to see much more of T.J. Finley. I hate it. I don't want to get on here and bash a kid. But T.J. Finley is not going to win football games for anybody in this league, period. He's not he makes a throw or two here and there, but for the most part he's inconsistent. He's not mobile. And when you're dealing with an offensive line that's not just 5-star on 5-star up front, you got to have a guy that can move around, and he's not the guy. Again, I think he's a great kid. I've heard nothing but good things about him. I think he's positive on the sideline, and I want to see good things happen. But he's not going to go out there and lead Auburn to a lot of wins.
I totally agree. I thought he looked the exact same. I didn't see any improvement whatsoever. I saw a lot of overthrows. I saw a lot of misreads. I just didn't see anything that made me think, boy, T.J. Finley's going to get it.
He's not going to get it.
And Brett, people love to go back and point to the drive he led against Georgia State last year where, he completes on fourth down after touchdown, whatever, or that he was able to help hang tough with Alabama. And I think I get so tired of these one-off arguments because it's sort of like a Zach Calzada, honestly. If Zach Calzada and A&M had not beaten Alabama last year, would you even know who he was?
Probably not.
These one-offs, anybody can have a magical moment, and I think sometimes you have a magical moment. Now, obviously, last year for the Iron Bowl didn't work out for TJ, but everybody says, well, Auburn was right there, and they were, but it really wasn't because of him. He just gets the credit because he's
I was actually going to say, if they'd have had anybody else in there at quarterback, Auburn probably wins the game by 2 touchdowns.
That could be true, too.
I mean, anybody that can move, anybody that can hit a 5 or 10-yard pass, the game's probably because of Auburn's defense and Alabama's ineptness, no offense for 3.5 quarters, basically. Let's just be honest. Alabama couldn't move the football, and they couldn't block anybody up front. They didn't play good. That's just the way it is, and I think Auburn had a lot to do with that on the defensive side. But Auburn didn't have a guy at quarterback that could seize the moment, that could take advantage of that. And he had a couple guys in that game wide open, downfield,
just missed them.
And he missed them. And you can't do that in a game like that. So, I knew what was coming at the end. I was like, we just keep hanging on and hanging on and hanging on. I'm like, eventually Bryce Young and Alabama's going to put one drive together, and it just happened to be the last one. And, we were sitting there in Auburn, and I'm like, look, it's coming. We cannot continue to go 3 and out and give the ball back. We're playing with fire. And, and I know Tank Bigsby, if he'd have slid, and it would have made it a lot tougher for Alabama to drive. Frankly, I don't know that Alabama would have had enough time to get down there and score a touchdown. But at the end of the day, all of that's a moot issue if T.J. Finley can just put a drive together. If he puts one drive together in the fourth quarter, Luke, the game's over. Alabama's out of it.
That's true. Now, the other quarterbacks, Robbie Ashford, was pretty – his efficiency was very good.
Right.
No touchdowns. But
he moved the ball.
He did move the ball. One other thing that I've heard this both ways, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I've heard, where he would have had a lot of yards rushing if he wasn't tagged when he was – if it were tagged not to be down. And my other thought to that is, but some of those other plays he probably gets sacked too. So I think that you got to sort of wipe that off a little bit.
He got counted for 2 sacks when they blew the play dead.
So, but I think that, I think he showed some athleticism, and I think he should get some bonus points because he wasn't playing behind the first-team offensive line most of the time. I think he should get points for that. But, overall – what the quarterback performance showed me in Auburn's A-Day is, Zach Calzada probably needs to be the guy. Now, I just said you wouldn't know Zach Calzada if he hadn't beaten Alabama, and that's true, but I did get to see enough of him during the year just watching Texas A&M where I thought, okay, he's a pretty good quarterback. Yeah, he had an out-of-his-mind day against Alabama, but his down-to-earth, like this is my average game was not bad. He's not a bad quarterback at all.
He can spin it pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's not dynamic, but he's not I think he's better than TJ Finley, and I think he's better than
God,
Robbie
there's
Ashford.
no question about
So
TJ Finley.
I would still put my money on Zach Calzada, even though he's missed the spring.
Right.
I would put my money on him.
And I think Brian Harsin, at the end of the day, when he went out to get him, really won't. I'm not saying he's pulling against the kid. I think, though, he had intentions of him coming in and being the guy. And so we'll see. I think it'll be. And look, we didn't really talk about Holden Gardner yet. He was 9 of 11 for 71 yards. Just kind of much maligned a little bit. I mean, nothing bad, nothing overly good. Did throw a touchdown pass, but Holden Gardner is a true freshman coming in. He's got a lot to learn. I think he's got a good frame, and I think he'll develop into a good quarterback before it's all said and done. But we'll come back. We'll talk some more about Auburn's spring game this past Saturday. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. Test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Hi, I'm Scott Blake.
I'm Angie Richardson, and we are the loan team here at Movement Mortgage.
Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've gone through the process before,
Our mission is to help you move forward with the purchase of your future plans. Call me at 256-397-2771.
or call me at 256-794-1003.
Scott Blake, NMLS number 527945. Angie Richardson, NMLS number 216556. Movement Mortgage supports equal housing opportunity, NMLS number 39179. For licensing information, please visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Castelluccio Fine Italian Dining in downtown Alexander City is rapidly becoming the region standard for Italian cuisine, as well as hand-cut filet mignon, fresh Gulf seafood, and the area's best Italian import wine selection. We offer true old-world charm with unmatched hospitality. Like Castelluccio Fine Dining on Facebook to keep up with daily lunch and dinner specials. Also new, we offer catering for your family and small business, so call and order. Castelluccio, downtown Alexander City, where the only thing that rivals the flavor is the dining experience.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
What's up, everybody? Jackson Hodges here with Main Street Anniston, and do I have some exciting news for you? It's the 20th anniversary of the Noble Street Festival in Sunny King Criterium, the biggest event in Calhoun County each year. You don't want to miss it. There'll be a free kids zone, food, vendors, all sorts of things. We'll have Combat Park, so be sure to come down to Noble Street on April 9th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. to experience this once-in-a-lifetime event.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. And Sunshine Heating and Air, just kind of going back and recapping here a couple segments on Auburn's spring game this past Saturday. Again, quarterback, we talked about running back. We know what Tank Big. He only got 5 carries for 12 yards.
I did see a concerted effort to try and get the ball to him as a wideout. And I think both times I saw, he dropped it or it wasn't a great pass. And I was thinking, not every running back can go out there and play wideout. No. And, I said the same thing about Brian Robinson. We tried that with him a few times. It never worked out.
Right.
And I think Tank Bigsby is a running back. Just let him be running back. Let him be a running back. He can probably do a screen, but this stuff where you flare him all the way out to the sideline, then try and hit him deep. There is a lot of intuition that goes into that. And yes, if we were playing pickup football, he'd be awesome out there. The problem is when you're playing at this level, everybody's been practicing that so long that if you don't have the skills for that, you're going to get eaten alive. And I just feel like he is much better. Just let him play running back.
No, I'm with you. Sean Jackson, the walk-on that was given a scholarship a few weeks ago from Hewitt-Trussville, 7 carries, 26 yards, wanted to just kind of see what he was now that he's kind of moved up into that number 2 position because Jacquez Hunter is out this spring with a leg injury. So Hunter will be the number 2 guy again when he comes back there. But it was good to see Sean Jackson. I remember him in high school, and he played with Armani Goodwin. And, you know, in
Paul Tyson.
Yeah, Paul Tyson. He's a good
Jaquavius Johnson.
Yeah.
Javarius Johnson.
Javarius Johnson. He's a good player. I mean, he's a good hard runner, and I mean, he's nothing spectacular when you look at him, but I think he gives you a good option there. And then Jordan Ingram from St. Paul's, 4 carries, 13 yards. He's a smaller guy, but you know, got a few carries. To me, a guy that stood out was Brandon Frazier. He's a big guy. I think he's 6'8". He's from Texas. He was a 4-star tight end. Chad Morris recruited him. He came to Auburn. He stayed. Really didn't see much out of him last year because it was Shanker that got most of the playing time, really, and then maybe a Luke Dill and Tyler Fromm coming in. But Brandon Frazier caught the most out of the tight ends just Saturday, 5 catches, 42 yards. He's a big target. He looked the part. He played good. Thought he had a good game there, so he stood out. Auburn's got a lot of tight ends, and, you know, really – all 4 of them were very serviceable. And Shanker coming back was the leading receiver on the team last year. He's a leader on the team. So it's good to see from that standpoint because when you look at the wide receiver core, Luke, Tavares Dawson, Xavier Capers, Malcolm Johnson Jr., all those guys really didn't get a lot of playing time last year. Shed Jackson was really the only guy coming back minus Landon King, who caught a touchdown pass. Landon King's a phenomenal athlete. He kind of reminds me of Rufus French and some of those type hybrid receiver, you know, tight end guys. But, you know, they've got some talent there, but there's a lot of inexperience at the wide receiver post. So I think Auburn will rely on a lot of those tight end veterans. But, you know, that's really the recap on the offensive side.
Yeah, not only do I think they'll rely on the tight ends, they need 4 of them, honestly. I mean, I think that's probably too much on the tight end from most teams.
Right.
I think for Auburn this year, it's a good thing because you still don't have a ton of faith in the offensive line, even though it's experienced. But these tight ends are experienced. They're big enough to block, and they're also tall enough to help bail you out. So, and I think a lot of times that's going to be the bailout target. Now, they'll be primary too, but more often than not, if you've got somebody that's 6'8", like a Brandon Frazier, and let's say they're getting a pretty heavy pass rush, you're going to have to get rid of it quick. Well, you want to get rid of it to a guy that's got a big wingspan and big mitts.
Yeah, and a guy that's going to be able to go over the middle and take a lick and maybe move the chains. On the defensive side of the ball, you know, again, some guys out, but was really looking on the front lines, and Dylan Brooks had a good day. Had 5 tackles up front. Marquise Burks ended up with 2 tackles, Zycavius Walker with 2, and then you got to see some guys like Jason Jones, who only had 1 tackle, but is a big plug right there in the middle. He's the transfer from Oregon, was at Calera out of high school, went out to Oregon, now he's back. It's a big pickup there for Auburn. At linebacker, you got Wesley Steiner, who led the team in tackles with 6. Cam Riley was right behind him with 5 tackles and a sack, and then Tisdale and Cameron Brown had 4 tackles apiece. Powell Gordon from Auburn High School coming over had 3 tackles and a tackle for loss, and then Joko Willis with a tackle and a tackle for loss. So no Owen Papo there, but able to see some of these guys that will be contributing there at the linebacker post. And then defensive backs, Nick Carpenter with 6 tackles, Donovan Kaufman, the transfer from Vanderbilt last year who played at Auburn, 4 tackles, Caleb Wooden, who is Colby Wooden's brother, 3 tackles, Caden Bridges, in on the tackles. Just a lot of guys back there. Nehemiah Pritchett, A.D. Diamond, DJ James, who also is a transfer from Oregon. A lot of guys there in the secondary for Auburn. Really not not worried about the defensive side of the ball. Got some depth there. Got to develop some more edge rushers. We know what Derek Hall's all about. We know what Iku Leota can do. That's why it was really Dylan Brooks' stage on Saturday to see if he could be that true third edge rusher, and he kind of showed out. And he was a 5-star in high school. Kind of waiting to see him emerge on the stage, and maybe he'll take that next step this year.
Yeah, and I think that's crucial, is developing some more of these edge rushers. I mean, it's so important in the SEC.
And they got to be fresh, too.
You got so many good quarterbacks and so many dynamic passing schemes. I mean, you got to be able to get back to the quarterback.
Got to get pressure. For the most part, that's kind of a wrap-up of Auburn's spring game. Again, it wasn't anything that was going to wow you or blow you away. There are some good things to pull out of this. Auburn really needs to get some of those key components, lots of big names not even talked about on this list that didn't even really participate, that they're going to have to rely on in the fall. So I know they're concentrating on getting them healthy. And then Auburn's still got work to do. They've got to go to the portal. Brian Harsin, again, I think this is, and we'll talk about these coaching rankings in the next couple segments, but I think this is where the rubber hits the road. I think Brian Harsin's a good football coach. And I was on Gary Harris's show this past Friday, and, Gary said that. He said, I really believe from an X's and O's standpoint, Brian Harsin, he knows his stuff, and I think he can really relay that to the players. But if he doesn't get a grip on the recruiting, he ain't going to be around long enough for it to matter.
Well, yeah, it's this league is unforgiving, and if you don't have the talent, you'll just get run right over, and you got to go out there and get the players. And look, it's just a dog-eat-dog world, and some of these other teams like Arkansas, they've been down the totem pole for so long. You watch Arkansas play, you see how hungry they are, and now they're actually getting some talent.
And Tennessee now too.
Tennessee, same way. Tennessee's got one of the top quarterbacks in the country committed to them. I've been calling him Nico Iamaleava because that's what somebody told me his pronunciation is. Now I've been told by somebody who's actually talked to him that's not right, and I can't pronounce it, Brett. I couldn't make the words come out of my mouth. I don't know how to say it. But anyway.
I hate it for Bob Kessler.
Yeah.
Kessling.
It's going to be a thing. But what's funny is so Nico will be at Tennessee. It looks like Arch Manning, either Alabama, Texas, or Georgia. And, while he's playing at Texas, they'll probably be in the league. Now, Chris Vezina out of Briarwood today, who plays Benjamin Russell later on, he just committed to Clemson today.
Yeah, I figured that was coming.
He's awesome. I like him a lot.
Right.
Then there's another guy named Eli Holstein out of Louisiana, just like Arch Manning is. He's probably going to end up going to an Alabama or somewhere like that, so he could be in the SEC. I mean, all these quarterbacks are going to be in the South again. I mean, it never stops around.
No, it's not ever gonna slow down. Up against the break, stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City, Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Fast, fresh, and friendly. That's the Allen Brew Market mission to our customers on the go. Allen Brew Markets of Talladega County fuel your vehicle and you with the best coffee, drinks, snacks, and food, so you can get your day on the fast track. Allen Brew Markets are always convenient with Sylacauga locations on Main Avenue, Highway 280, and Old Birmingham Highway. Allen Brew Markets has everything for the family on the go, and we're always brewing up great specials. Fast, fresh, and friendly, our guarantee to you.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Why is Sarah Automotive Group on Highway 280 in Sylacauga the place for the best deals on your new ride? 3 compelling reasons. 1. With 3 full new car dealers on one lot, you get the best in comparison and incentives on Fords, Hondas, and Nissans. Unmatched selection. 2. Sarah pays over market value for your trade to maintain East Central Alabama's best pre-owned vehicle selection and sales. And 3. The Sarah Automotive price won't be beat and delivers lower payments and huge value on your next buy. Shop online or on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everyone. Very short segment here as we head to the top of the hour. But we'll get started on here. Adam Spencer with Saturday Down South came up with, and look, he's not the only one that's kind of done a ranking of these SEC coaches, and it's kind of all over the map. But the one thing that should be discouraging, that in my 15-plus years of doing SportzBlitz, have never called out an Alabama or Auburn coach in this position. So, and this is on multiple rankings. So we'll normally start at the bottom. We start with Vanderbilt, right? But Clark Leah is not the number 14 coach, according to Adam Spencer and Saturday Down South. That's Brian Harsin. And, you know, I want to flash everybody back to mid-October last year. Auburn had just beaten Arkansas pretty convincingly on the road, a good Arkansas team. It was a good road win for Auburn. And they go to Fayetteville. They come out. I think Auburn's ranked number 12 in the country at that time. Really looked like they were destined for a possible 9-win season. You know, at that point in time, you felt like, you know, even though Alabama was playing really, really good, you already had Georgia behind you. You had Mississippi State at home. You just felt really good about what the rest of the schedule was going to lay out. And, you know, they never were able to get back. It's really odd. Just never were able to get things going after a big win on the road. So you look at it from that standpoint, they lose the last 5 games. They lose the game against Houston. They look very maligned on offense. Defense played a good game, but TJ Finley once again wasn't able to move the football. And so now you carry this losing streak into the offseason, a not just so stellar recruiting class, an attempted coup of trying to get Brian Harsin fired via a bunch of junk, you know, nefarious things, accusing him of nefarious stuff and trying to get him out that way so I don't have to pay a buyout. It all fails, and then now we're here. And I think that's why that's a combination of why Brian Harsin found himself at number 14 here.
Yeah, wow. When you talk about that nefarious stuff, I mean, it's so wild that I forget it. Because there was all these accusations of his having inappropriate relations with a girl in the athletic department, you know, and her picture was circulating. And I'll tell you something, you know, I wonder, number one, I wonder what happened to her. Is she still there? Do we know?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. I mean, how can she lose her job? I mean,
she couldn't lose her job, but I would say that if it would be also hard to stay there with those accusations.
I guess so.
I mean, and that's awful. I mean,
you just ruin people. I mean, that just you ruin people's professional career. You ruin their lives with their families when you do stuff like that. And it's almost like the ones that went after him, Luke, it was like, oh, okay, well.
That didn't work.
Didn't work. We'll just keep going. There's no repercussions. There's no consequences. That's kind of the way journalism is today. When, the press, they just print stuff. And a lot of times it's wrong. And then there's no retraction. There's no apology. They just go, oh, okay, that didn't stick. On to the next story. There is no accountability anymore. And so now you look at it from Brian Harsin, they're like, oh, okay, well, that didn't work. Now go win a bunch of football games.
Yeah.
Well, gee, thanks. Appreciate you putting that in my lap. So Brian Harsin, 14. It's the first time in our history on these programs ever calling an Auburn or Alabama coach out in dead last.
I mean, I don't remember. Boy, Shula certainly could have been a candidate for it.
He wouldn't have been last.
He probably wouldn't have been last. And had Gene Chizik stuck around after 2012, he probably would have been last given the performance in 12.
Yeah, but he was gone.
Was gone. So, yeah, I think this is the first time I've ever heard of an Alabama-Auburn guy being dead last.
Well, Clark Leah is 13th. He is Vanderbilt's head coach. Mike Leach at 12. I mean, look, let's be honest. That miraculous comeback at Auburn kind of saved him a little bit. They were getting their doors blown off at halftime. It's the Auburn season. Every time I go back and I think about those last 4 or 5 games, Luke, it's just weird. I mean, it's just, you had 2 or 3 of those games in the bag and you couldn't finish, and you let a very mediocre Mississippi State team come back from being down 28 points on the road. I mean, look, I understand if you were to give up a 28-point lead to Alabama, or you gave up a 28-point lead to Georgia because they got hot and you turned the ball over and some things didn't go right. You should never give up a 28-point lead to Mississippi State at home, on the moon, in Starkville, wherever it is.
I'll tell you, it's I don't know. I mean, okay, I get why Leach is ranked ahead of Harsin. But if I'm choosing, I might choose Harsin. I probably would choose Harsin over Leach. I've been saying this since Leach came in.
Leach can't recruit either.
Leach is 10 years too late to this conference.
Right.
10 years too late. And now I know he went in and beat Texas A&M this year. Kudos for that. I know he had this big comeback against Auburn. We have seen Mike Leach's ceiling, and it's pretty doggone low.
7 wins.
Yeah. Now, Mississippi State say, well, maybe we always win 7 games. But if you want to aspire to be more, you got to go out there and take a chance on somebody else. And I'm not a big fan of Leach's in terms of his ability to win in this conference. He's a fun dude and a great personality to have in here.
But he's mediocre on the field.
Yeah.
So at 11, kind of shocking, Josh Heupel, because if you look at preseason predictions, they've got Tennessee up with a chance to even pull off 10 wins this year. But Josh Heupel's look, I think he's doing some really good things at Tennessee, maybe a little bit low. And I'll go ahead and tell you 10 is Billy Napier. I'm not sure that I'm putting Billy Napier ahead of Josh Heupel at this point. Now, I'm not saying that Billy Napier doesn't end up ahead of Josh Heupel, but right now I'd probably go with Heupel over Napier.
Let me tell you something interesting I saw today. Tony Mitchell, the fantastic safety out of Thompson, and A.J. Harris, the fantastic defensive back out of Central Phoenix City, both crystal balled to Florida. And so what that tells me is Napier's a really good recruiter. I don't think Tony Mitchell's originally from Alabama. I don't think he is. So, he doesn't necessarily have the ties to the state that some of the other guys might. But wouldn't that be interesting if he got those two? Chris Vizina goes to Clemson. I mean, this loaded year we talk about in state, Quay Russell, who a lot of people think is going to go to Georgia. I mean, man, all of a sudden.
All these guys are going elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden.
I've got some comments coming in. I want to get to them. I didn't see them. I apologize. Brian said, great show as always, watching from Charlotte, North Carolina. While working up here the past week, Bama seemed to have benefited extremely well from the transfer portal. Welcome back to you, Luke. He said, thank you for the show. Great week, as always.
Happy to talk about transfer portal, and they did. And I'll tell you something. Nick Saban tried to tell everybody. He tried to. Today, a kid named Tyler Harrell
from
gets from Louisville is in the portal.
Oh, you're talking about the wide receiver.
Yeah, he's in the portal.
But Alabama just picked up a
Tyler Steen from Vandy, who's very, very good. But Tyler Harrell gets in the transfer portal, and Louisville people are losing their mind because he's their best receiver, and he runs like a legit 4.2. And he's like, he's going to Alabama. This isn't right. Nick Saban said this. He said it's the opposite of what everybody thought. Everybody was saying, let's do this so we can make parity. It's the other way.
Yeah.
The kids that are really
They're going to
good
want to go to other good
to
programs.
a winner.
That's exactly
They're not
right.
going to go. They're not looking at it like, hey, I get all this playing time. Why would you transfer from Alabama to Louisville if you're a superstar when you get less notoriety, you get beat up more because you don't have enough 5 stars protecting you?
Yeah, and this is true. Brian says if Arch Manning commits to Alabama, it'll be the only time a Manning will be close to a national championship. Kyle said year 1, Harsin beat LSU in Baton Rouge for the first time in 20 years. Beat one of Arkansas's best team in years by double digits in Fayetteville. Beat a 10-win Heisman QB and Ole Miss team by double digits. Almost got Saban with average at best quarterback. Sure, his team collapsed, but 14th to 14th. I totally disagree. I mean, you make good points there. Brian said, in my opinion, as an Alabama fan, it seems like Brian Harsin is not going to be led around as a puppet to the boosters or whomever at Auburn. That's what they need, a coach that has total control and dictation of just like Nick Saban, quite possibly be a sleeping giant. Again, we don't know what 12 months – we don't know what things will look like.
Let me say this. I can – first of all, there's not like this formula of this is exactly how it needs to be done. But I think that when it comes to Harsin, he can't be a dictator like Saban. He hadn't earned those stripes. He's not even he and Saban are like coaching 2 different things. That's 2 different animals. So Harsin's not in that area code. So he can't be the authoritarian, autonomous leader, okay? But he doesn't need to be a puppet, but he needs to reach out to these boosters enough to make them feel like, okay, we're a part of the program.
He needs them on his
because
side.
it seems like he is not. He claims all this Auburn spirit or whatever. It feels like he hasn't bought in terms of the getting in there and talking to the common man, if you know what I'm saying.
No, I understand. Up against the break. Stay tuned. 1 hour left here on SportzBlitz Live.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Welcome back, everyone, to SportzBlitz Live, hour number 2 here on the show. Give us a call, 256-234-6221. A lot of comments that have come through here on Facebook Live. Again, you can call us talking about these rankings, SEC coaches. Harsin at 14, Clark Leah at 13 at Vanderbilt, Mike Leach at 12, Mississippi State, Josh Heupel 11 with Tennessee, which I think is a little low for him. Billy Napier at 10, coming in brand new to the league from Louisiana, taking over at Florida, who has his work cut out for him as well. He's lost a ton of players. His recruiting class wasn't the best coming in, what he had to inherit. He's got a lot of injuries. So Florida, I've seen some predictions of them possibly going 6-6 on the season. So he's got a lot of work to do, but seems to be beating the bushes and really making an impact with some of these very talented players in the class of 20.
Do you know whose opening game is?
Florida's opening game? I did. Go ahead and
Utah at home.
Utah at home. So
very interesting. But the only reason I was reminded of that because I was pulling up Florida's schedule to see who their
do they go to Tennessee or do they have Tennessee at home?
They go to Tennessee. I mean, look, listen. This is murderous beginning of the schedule.
I mean, I've seen most predictions. I've seen 6-6.
They're at Utah. Home Utah, home Kentucky, home UCF.
Okay, South Florida.
Yeah, at Tennessee, Eastern Washington, home against Missouri.
Hey, Eastern Washington's usually
a
pretty doggone good team.
Home against Missouri, home against LSU. God almighty, they got a lot of home games, don't they? Then neutral site game against Georgia, at A&M, South Carolina at home, at Vandy, at Florida State.
I've seen his high prediction for South Carolina is 9-3. I'd have to pull them up. We'll talk about that here, but Shane Beamer comes in next is the reason I say that.
I think that's high for him.
I do too. I'm probably putting Heupel and Napier over Shane Beamer. But you know what? Shane Beamer didn't have a bad year last year, and he seems to be getting some pretty good players to come to South Carolina, so maybe worthy of the 9
I don't
spot.
like his crossover games. That's the first. When you talk about SEC scheduling to me, everybody's got their divisional games. It's those crossover games that can get you. If you ever double up on difficult crossover games, for a middling program like South Carolina, I think it's a death nail. They're at Arkansas, second game of the season, and then they're home against A&M on October 22nd.
That's not good.
I just think that's
a bad draw.
difficult.
It's
That's
a bad
difficult draw. Yeah,
it's a bad draw. Eli Drinkwitz comes in at 8, which is, Missouri. He's not done a bad job up there. I'll give him that. He inherited a mess.
He did.
Missouri's just they're not going to draw a lot anyway, just because of it's just not a big football school. And I think he's done a pretty good job there, but kind of finds himself right there almost in the middle.
I guess this is somewhat of a.
Is that his ceiling? 8? Would that be as high as you'd ever put him?
Boy, tell me the wins here. Okay, Louisiana taking home, you would think that's a win. At Kansas State, won't be easy. They're coached by, gosh, his name escapes me, but the guy that was at North Dakota State who won so much,
right.
who had a big win last year.
He'll probably flop and Bill Snyder will come back again.
That's right.
10 wins.
They're going to have to resurrect him. Abilene Christian, then at Auburn, Georgia at home. Boy, how about this for a 3-game stretch? At Auburn, Georgia at home, at Florida. Then they got Vandy at South Kakalaki, Kentucky at home, at Tennessee, New Mexico State, Arkansas. The backside of their schedules.
6-6?
Yeah. Boy,
seriously.
Yeah, I think 6-6.
I've seen as high as 8-4 from them.
Boy,
I've seen as high as 8.
If they only lose 4 games, he's coach of the year to me.
Well, he's sitting at 8. Sam Pittman's at 7. Boy, you talking about a guy that has vaulted up. Sam Pittman was at the bottom, and then now he's at 7. He's propelled himself up to the halfway point here in the conference, and he earns that, in my opinion. He's done a great job. We plenty of jokes against Arkansas.
Oh yeah. We were wrong.
We were. He proved that. You go in there, you get kids to buy into your philosophy. You inherit a bunch of hungry people that want to win. They've got some support at Arkansas. If Auburn doesn't go up there and whip them like that, I think what do they end up with, 7-5? They would end up with an 8-4 chance and a 9-3 season last year.
I'm giving Arkansas a round of applause because Football team is certainly on the uptick. It's not there yet, but it's certainly on the uptick. Basketball team, preseason number 1 for next year by a lot of polls. A lot of people think they can be number 1 in the country next year. Baseball in the top 5 to 10.
Always.
Softball.
Top
number
5.
Number 1, number 2.
Number 1 right now.
Well, Oklahoma's number 1.
Well, let's see. They are number 6.
Yeah, I knew they were top somewhere in
They're
there.
top 10.
So they've got it going on right now, and you got to give them credit for that.
Well, to me, Tennessee and Arkansas right now, from top to bottom, they're killing it. They're just knocking it out of the park.
Let me go to Arkansas just for a second. Love their opening game, Cincinnati at home. That's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's the game to me. I've been begging Cincinnati, like, you want respect, you got to go to Arkansas. You got to do some of these things. Arkansas when they're pretty good. You can't choose Arkansas when they're crappy.
Well, they're getting them at a good time.
I know they're getting them at a good time. So I feel like, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I'm looking at the problem with Cincinnati is this: at Arkansas, they got Kennesaw State and Miami of Ohio. Okay, it's hard for us to overlook your crappy conference when you put Kennesaw State and Miami of Ohio in there. You got to play in Arkansas, and then you got to say I don't even care if it's Wake Forest. I don't care if it's I know you got Illinois. Somebody. You've got to play some Power Fives, even if it's the bottom tier of them.
Just go pick somebody.
And you just can't play Kennesaw State.
Right.
Does Alabama play Mercer? Does Auburn play Alabama State? You damn right they do.
They don't play, but they play 9 other.
They play a meat grinder.
Right. So they deserve that. Brian Kelly comes in at 6. Brand new to the conference, Notre Dame. Speaking of Cincinnati, spent his time at Cincinnati, but by default comes in, takes over an LSU team that's got some tumultuous stuff going on, and they put him at 6.
Okay, I buy it because of what he has done at Notre Dame. He did go to the playoff. He did go to a BCS game. He did have Cincinnati. Did he have them undefeated?
He did, I think.
So
he's not a bad coach.
He's a pretty good coach. Okay, and 6 is probably where it's at. In 2 years, I think he'll be further down the list. If you're asking me,
you think he's going to fall instead of rise?
Yes, I think he's going to fall because I think LSU's about to run into some real issues NCAA-wise.
Yep.
I also feel like now that Texas A&M has sort of gotten their act together, that hurts LSU as much as anybody, going into Texas.
No doubt.
So, yeah, I feel like this is a bad thing for them.
We come back, we'll list the top 5 coaches in the SEC when we come back. Stay tuned. More SportzBlitz Live right after this.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
From the smallest drippy faucet to drain cleaning to water heater replacement to gas lines to total systems replacement, A&M Plumbing handles it all. Visit amplumbing.net today for the experienced, licensed, and insured pros at A&M Plumbing.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Okay, somebody's not wearing their seatbelt.
I don't wear seatbelts. Might wrinkle my shirt.
That's okay. I'm sure they can iron it before the funeral.
What funeral?
Yours. Almost 70% of people who die in car crashes aren't wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. There. You happy?
Just happy to be alive.
Seatbelts. It's hard to live without them. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
It's time to crank for bank. April 1st through July 4th, you'll be fishing Lake Martin for a chance to win big. With a $100 registration, you'll be fishing for $1 million from Big Fish Real Estate Group and Point Broadband, a 2022 Bass Cap Bass Boat from Russell Marine, 2022 Skeeter Bass Boat from Ashley Outdoors, a 2022 Chevy truck from Lake Martin Cabinetry and Allen Embry Premier Chevrolet, or catch a $1,500 tagged fish. Brought to you in part by Dunning Roofing, Lake Martin Tourism, Mortgage Pro, Fishing Chaos, and Lake Broadcasting. Visit Crank, the number 4 bank.com for details.
To Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. And Sunshine Heating and Air comment from Kyle said, first 5 are crucial for Harsin. All at home, needs 4 of the 5. First 2 should be givens. Has to circle the Penn State game. Really needs out. Well, no doubt. I mean, you open up with a few cream puffs, and then you got Penn State coming in, and Franklin's he's gonna have them ready. He's coached in this league. He knows what it's like playing in SEC stadiums. It'll be a night game. It'll be on ABC, I'm sure, again, just like it was last year.
Well, actually, I don't think it can be on ABC, can it? Because it's in the SEC, right?
Well, it was on ABC last year.
I know, because it was at Penn State. Penn State, the home,
maybe
school
it is. Okay.
has the right. So
vice versa, it's going to be probably at night.
It could be ESPN. It could be, it could be. I think this is CBS's last year, right?
I think they've got 2 more years. I think they go to 25 or 24.
Well,
anyway, period. It's going to be a big game. Kyle's right. I mean, they've got to do. Brian Harsin really needs to win that game. If they lose that game, I think you start kind of seeing maybe what's going to happen. Top 5 here, according to Adam Spencer, was Saturday Down South. Lane Kiffin at 5.
All right. Again, I'll ask you this: who would you rather have leading?
What has he done?
Who would you rather have leading your program? Let's just Sam Pittman or Lane Kiffin.
I'd probably go with Pittman in the long run.
I think I would too. And
Lane Kiffin is just so. What's the word I'm looking for with him? He's not sporadic. Just it is kind of fly by nightish. He's so just in the moment. There's no planning. It just seems like I'm gonna grab what's in front of me and do the best I can. I mean, he brings a lot of things off the field to the table. His social media game, getting them exposure. He knows how to play all that stuff. But a top 5 coach in this league, has he really earned
that's
that
tough.
mantle? I mean, really.
Again, and it's so funny because there's a gap in between the two. Would I rather have Lane Kiffin or Brian Kelly? Boy, I might go Lane Kiffin on that one. It's interesting when you put these guys head to head. Who would you rather have? Kelly's a little bit older, and he can do all his. This is my family stuff. All he wants to.
Know it, but it's.
You and I have an authentic Southern.
Yeah,
accent.
We don't have to fake it.
I mean, my kids who've been, I got 3 kids who are in Ohio. They're like, Dad, it's Tuesday, not Tuesday. And I'm like, I say Tuesday. I say Wednesday.
That's right.
I say Thursday.
Hey, it's just where I am. So, Lane Kiffin 5, Mark Stoops at 4. We just talked a bunch about him. He's done a heck of a job at Kentucky.
I would have clearly Mark Stoops over anybody else we've mentioned so far.
Jimbo Fisher at 3. I mean, so far, he's been, he's been with what he's got, the resources, and it just has really underachieved, in my opinion. Let's just be honest about it. But he is at 3. You got to put him somewhere. I think maybe that's
all right. Let me tell you about Texas A&M. I'm trying to find their schedule right here. This year, I heard a Texas A&M fan on another show coming in a national.
The pressure's definitely on them.
Yeah, and he was like, "Look, this year is not the year for us necessarily." He said next year is the year. So I think it's going to be really important to look at 2023 schedule because you got to remember they just brought in like 7 superstars.
They did. I mean, can they manage those guys?
That's the thing.
That's going to be the key.
But next year, not 2022, 2023, they're at Miami after a year of Mario Cristobal. That's going to be a big monster game. They've got that game with Arkansas. They're at LSU. They're at Ole Miss. They're at Tennessee. That's one of their crossovers. When Tennessee will have one more year under their belt, probably be better. Alabama, Auburn at home, Mississippi State and South Carolina at home. So if they're looking for 2023, that's a pretty doggone tough schedule to get through if that's going to be your year. But maybe it is. I'm just, they lost that commitment from Eli Holstein, who's one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country. But they still got a bunch of they've got a bunch of talent over there. But you're right, it's managing the egos of that roster.
No
That's
doubt,
gonna be tough.
no doubt. And they seem to win a big game that they need to win that would possibly get them over the hump to win the division, and then they lay 2 eggs. They beat Alabama at home, and they had the opportunity to kind of grab the mantle, and they just really became irrelevant. I mean, they just cannot – nobody buys into them for an entire season. Kirby Smart at 2, obviously, and Nick Saban number 1.
It's kind of hard to argue those top 4 in that order when I think about it. I mean, I want so badly to put Mark Stoops higher, but
Where's
I can't.
he go?
I mean,
he can't go anywhere.
First of all, those 3 ahead of him have all won a national championship.
And he's never beaten Kirby Smart in Georgia. He is where he is. Has he beaten Jimbo Fisher? Have they played?
They did play. If you remember, they had an overtime game a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
At Texas A&M.
I remember
Kentucky
that.
had them on the ropes.
Oh, they did. They sure did. So, but again, if you're looking at it from head to head, he hadn't been able to beat those guys. So that's a ranking. And again, if you're just tuning in, and I see some people pulling up right here, Brian Harsin, he got a lot of work to do, and I don't think that's breaking news. I don't think that's anything that anybody's surprised, but it is surprising when you see it on paper that the head football coach at Auburn's number 14 on this list.
And I'll tell you something, even as an Alabama fan, I have no problem saying this. I think he wrote that a little bit for shock value. I don't think he necessarily believes that. I wouldn't rather have Clark Lee than have Brian Harsin. I mean, let's be honest. But
I think it maybe puts perspective on
it does put
stuff right now.
There's not many people I would put Brian Harsin above, but I'm putting him above Clark Lee. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
right.
If the writers, from the writer's perspective, if it's close, if you put Brian Harsin on the bottom, all of a sudden you get a lot more clicks.
And that's exactly what's happening here. No doubt about it. But again, we'll see how it plays out. I think the hay in the barn for Brian Harsin's recruits. I think we've all talked about it. He's a good X and O's coach. I think he knows the game. I think he knows what his style is. But can he's not in Boise anymore. This is not kick back and, go out and casually get a few decent players out west and go and win 10 games at Boise. He's in the SEC West, and right now his team's picked dead last. And that should be eye-opening. That if you're Brian Harsin, you don't need any more motivation. If you can't get up after what's all been done to you personally, with all the crap that went on a couple months ago, with having a 5-game losing streak ending the season, we can talk about all these close games and all, and he did win some big ones last year, mixed in. That's what makes this season so odd. But he doesn't need any motivation. All he's got to do is look and say, ain't nobody giving me a chance. So he's got to go convince some of these top players to choose Auburn, to fit his system, and then to go win some football games. That's the bottom line.
It's almost like he's got to be chomping at the bit to play because, this is going to be the talking point all through the summer. And really, it's not going to get any better after those first 2 soup can games. Nothing's going to change until that Penn State on the 3rd weekend.
And he better go get some guys in the portal, period. There's depth issues right here. If you watch the 8A game, you know it. Now, there was a lot of guys hurt, but from a standpoint, if they were all healthy, there's still depth issues at Auburn. Auburn lost a boatload of guys. Now, again, for whatever reason. But you got to replace that. You got to have numbers in this league, and if you don't, you're in deep you-know-what. We're up against the break. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
SignSource is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Now is the best time to sell your current home, as it's a seller's market, meaning that on average you can get up to 96% of your asking price. Who's the most aggressive and most experienced to help you sell your home?
Hi, I'm Rhonda Gaskins, broker, Century 21 Lake Area Realty in the Lake Martin area. We are getting a 96% return on our listing price to sales price in this area. Call me today and let me go to work for you. 256-749-3644.
GillsOpelika.info. Get pre-approved in minutes online at GillsOpelika.info for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine, Heating, and Air. A few segments left on tonight's show.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
You
I
can.
want to tell you something.
Absolutely.
All right, so last week, God, was it last week?
When you ever asked to interrupt me, you just go ahead.
I know. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to be more polite. It was 2 weeks ago. I was in Vegas. I got to tell some people a couple of things about Vegas.
Knock it out.
Had a ton of fun. It was the NCAA tournament was going on. People were, gambling on that. Took all my kids. You think, I got a 5-year-old, 12, 15, and 18.
Proud of you for remembering all that.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. So go out there and you think, what are you going to do? There's so much to do. I did a bunch of stuff that I'd never done before. Like we went to the Stratosphere, which is a dump if you're going to the casino. But if you go all the way up to the top, it's like one of the tallest towers in North America. And you get to see this panoramic view.
I bet I know who wouldn't go up there.
Who?
Randy.
No, Randy wouldn't do it. And you can lean over. And it looks like you're kind of falling. I mean, Randy would have he'd been just, just go and throw me off.
Yeah, I know.
But the other thing that they're doing out there, in a few years, there's going to be a casino called Moon. And it's it's going to be the world's largest sphere. And it's going to be a hotel casino that just looks exactly like a moon, the moon. And it's going to be nuts. And I just thought that was, that was really cool.
What's the moon going to think when it looks down there?
I know.
You're copying me, right?
I'm trying to think now there was something else I was going to tell you about all this that I wanted to tell you, and I can't. Oh, we went to Hoover Dam. I've never done
all
that.
the pictures.
Never done that before. I've been to Vegas.
You say Clark Chris
20 or 25 times. Never even thought about going to Hoover Dam because what I wanted to do is gamble or play or do something. Well, we went out there.
It's pretty awe-inspiring.
It is unreal. People were making 8 to 10 cents an hour. This is in the 1930s, 20, somewhere in there.
A lot of people died building that.
Like 100 and some people died, they think. Now, he said there's always this folklore that there are bodies in the concrete. There's not any bodies in the concrete because they would disintegrate, and then there'd be these big voids, and you can't have that in these dams. Now, in the Great Wall of China, I think they got plenty of people in there. But in this, I don't. And the other thing he said, he said, okay, you're making 8 to 10 cents an hour. And we're still really in a depression for the most part.
Right.
And so people are lined up to get that 8 to 10 cents an hour.
Correct.
And if you passed out, it's 120 degrees out in the desert,
Right.
you're building a dam, you don't have computers, you don't have big excavators, you got dynamite and a shovel, build the world's largest dam if you don't mind.
With inflation the way it is right now, your paycheck's about 8 to 10 cents an hour.
That's what you're getting at. But anyway, so they said if you passed out from heat exhaustion, got bumped on the head,
Fired.
whatever, you had 30 minutes to revive yourself. And if you didn't get up and get back to work, they were going to replace you. And you go to the back of the line to get a job again. And so people were doing whatever. Here's another story, Brett. It freaked me out. I have no idea if it's true. I don't care if it's not true because it's so cool. Our tour guide was like, what people don't know, we passed a checkpoint. They come in there and they look in your van. It's not like this big cavity search, but I mean, just making sure. And I said, I guess they started all this for 9/11. He said, nope. This has all started a long time ago because in World War II, Hitler sent some people to four Nazis to blow up the dam. And they caught them like 20 miles from the dam because the dam was one of the major supplies of power for California where a lot of the artillery was being made that we were sending over to the Allies.
Right.
And so how's that not been a movie? Why isn't Brad Pitt, Tommy Lee Jones, all of them in on it right now?
No kidding.
That is the coolest story. I'm like, I don't care.
And look, I'm a huge history buff, huge World War II person, and I've never heard that.
I'm not saying it's true.
But but even if it's not, that would be a cool movie.
And if it's not, he took a big gamble. Because if I come here and tell that nigga, man, that ain't true, I'm gonna be like, y'all don't ever use Scott.
I'm not surprised that didn't happen. I mean,
it makes sense, doesn't it?
It does make sense. That's a little wild.
But I'm not a history buff. But cool moments like that. I mean, think of how that would have shaped everything. Had they been able to get through.
But we talk about what if all the time, and we'll do that here in just a little bit in the next segment. But we do talk about, if a decision was made, if somebody went this way versus that way, how that would have shaped, the next 10 years or the next 15 years. We talk about that in coaching all the time. We especially talk about it with Alabama. If Alabama had chosen Rich Rodriguez instead of getting Nick Saban.
They had chosen Rich Rodriguez.
That's what I'm saying.
They chose Saban.
If he does accept.
They chose Saban. He turned them down. They got Rich Rodriguez.
Yes.
The wife turned them down. They went back to Saban. That's how that went. But the other thing about the Hoover Dam, okay, so you got, the lake is their main source of water supply for everything.
Right.
It's dropped like 200 feet. There ain't much lake left. He said, we got about 5 to 7 years of water left if we do nothing. And he said, somebody's got to do something. He said, now the politicians keep fighting over what to do. And he said, if we're going to build a tunnel, well, we hadn't started yet. And, it's not easy to just say, well, just go build a tunnel to some other body of water to get. But it's a problem.
It's not damming much up anymore.
Brett, it's so funky. There are these calcium and stains that go all the way. Like, they haven't had time to even begin to blend in. Usually, like, if you have a drop of water and it's incredibly gradual,
right,
you can see like a calcium or deposit streak or something like that. But this is pure white. Like, wow. It is dropped so fantastically that and the other
That's
thing
wild.
out there, you see a bunch of AstroTurf out there because they're like, look, we don't want to put grass because you have to have so much water, and we can only water our yards once every 2 weeks or something. It's nuts, man.
Crazy.
Still loved it.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting stuff. I mean, California and out west they've really been for about 2 decades now. Their lakes and everything have been drying up. I mean,
they're in a mega drought.
Exactly. I mean, and there's no answer for it.
Which is, and I know, again, I'm not trying to be a climate change denier or a climate change alarmist. I'm saying that these mega droughts come around. That's what, and he was like, look, it usually averages out. He said, we're in a mega drought and we need one of those really big snows so the water comes off the mountain and da-da-da. And he said, we just hadn't had one in 24 years. It's a problem.
That's crazy. That is.
But in the grand scheme of the earth, 24 years ain't that long.
It ain't that long. That's exactly right. I mean, you're just going through a down cycle, and this one happens to be a little bit longer than you're used to. So.
Well, welcome to SportzBlitz.
Science blitz, history blitz. Well,
Geography blitz.
Yeah, everything. Look, I tell you what we will do. We'll take a break blitz, and when we come back, we're going to talk about true false, what if. We'll go into some more. But it'll be revolving around
Before we
sports.
go to break, I will tell one quick funny story. We're sitting there at lunch with my son Truett, who you know, and Truett, he's not like me. I'm a quick eater. A quick decision. I know what I want. I don't like getting in
Right.
You know, well, Truett is a health nut. Like small percent of body fat, works all the time.
Zion blitz.
Yeah. So
Andy will never live.
He was looking at the menu. We were at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant for lunch. And Truett said, I'm going to have this, but can you take this off? She goes, no, it's already in there because he's watching his carbs. And doing all that. He said, okay. You know, the pressure was on. He was the last one to order. He said, well, just give me the beef Wellington. I said, buddy, this is vacation. I want you to have fun. You ain't ordering an $85 lunch.
No.
I'm just sorry. I'm drawing the line somewhere.
You're going to have to.
You don't even know what it is. I'm not 100% sure what it is, and you ain't getting an $85 lunch.
What did he do?
He got something else. I said, you better bring this boy some chicken fingers. I don't care.
Hey, he's going to have to skip out on the carbs.
You're going to have to eat the carbs.
Ain't no doubt. So, hey, no $85 lunches. True. Make sure you understand that. So, up against the break, stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Brubaker Motors in Montgomery is the largest and fastest growing used car dealership in the River Region. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker. It's better at Brubaker.com. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker.
BREWBAKER.com. It's better at Brubaker.com.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
LMG Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
For almost 10 years, there's been the go-to place for tires and automotive repair, Right Tire. Right Tire sells all makes of tires for anyone's vehicle and anyone's budget, and with Right Tire, you always get the right prompt service with the right price. Right Tire also can handle all of your bumper-to-bumper automotive needs with certified brake service, alignment, oil changes, tune-ups, and so much more. So when you want tires and automotive done right, see Right Tire on West Fort Williams in the heart of Sylacauga. Right work, right price, every time.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Become a member of the Superior family. Superior GMC Cadillac, Superior Hyundai, or Superior Automotive Pre-Owned. Between our 3 dealers in East Central Alabama, we offer the superior selection and service for any buyer's needs. All with the personal touch of being locally family-owned and operated. Check out any of our dealers online, or our 3 great lots in Anniston on Quintard, or our pre-owned superstore in Pell City, and join the Superior family of value.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar Grill. Sunshine, heating, and air. Let's get to some stuff that Andy likes to do that we enjoy. Better off-season acquisition, and we're just going to go through these. Russell Wilson to the Broncos or Deshaun Watson to the Browns?
I mean, that's tough because Deshaun Watson.
I'm going Deshaun Watson.
I want to, but I think Denver.
I think Cleveland. I think if you're looking at it from a franchise standpoint, Denver was pretty bad at quarterback, but dadgum, man, I think Deshaun Watson gives. I think he's hungry. Obviously, he's got some stuff. I like that one.
I like Deshaun.
Although I like Russell
them
Wilson.
both a lot. I'm going to go short-term Russell Wilson, long-term Deshaun Watson, with a caveat of as long as nothing comes of these accusations.
Right. Well, I think they've. That's the thing. I think Deshaun Watson's kind of been cleared of most of all that. True or false? I will watch the USFL beginning Saturday and Sunday.
It would be true if I were in town. I'd actually go to some of the games. I'm going to Arizona because my son is doing his orientation at Arizona State. But I would watch. I'm looking forward to all the games are going to be in Birmingham.
Are you going to go, son?
Yeah, let's go.
The thing is that every game's going to be played.
That's nuts.
Why? Just have a bunch of Birmingham teams there. Why you got New Orleans and New Jersey and all that kind of stuff?
That part doesn't make sense to me. But
it's weird. I don't get that.
I guess they're trying to cut down on travel costs.
Well, they got to travel back.
But I mean, if you have maybe they all stay in Birmingham the whole time.
I don't know. I haven't heard that. I need to find out.
That part I don't get.
That's weird.
It is the football capital of the South and maybe the football capital of the country, but I don't really understand that. But I'm fine with it. But now, the field's going to be kind of screwy, isn't it? I mean, I know it's got doesn't it have the artificial?
Yeah, it's artificial.
I understand, but if you play 3 games in a row on it, is that still?
I don't think it'll hurt.
It won't do anything? It's not artificial like old school artificial.
They have a thing where they go out there and they comb it.
Okay.
It's a machine that combs it. I think it's fine. Hey, but it's going to put the test on it. There's no doubt.
You do 3 professional football games in a row on that thing?
It could be pretty interesting. What's the chances Robbie Ashford starts at quarterback for Auburn?
25%.
Only 25%?
I say only 25 because, I think everybody's thinking how good he was.
All right, so let me throw another one out there.
Finley.
Chances T.J. Finley starts.
I will say Robbie Ashford and T.J. have the same percentage, and
I don't see
Zach Calzada has a 50%.
I don't think TJ's is that high.
Obviously, Brian Harsin kind of likes T.J. Finley.
Maybe
right?
They like to lose.
I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. I mean, again, I'm not trying to bash him, but if you continue to go back to that guy after seeing what he's done, you just obviously are ready to just go on to the house.
Well, look,
I mean,
he took Bo Nix.
I get all
out
that. I get
for
it.
him. He started him in the 8-day game.
I know. Well, we'll see. MVP of the Alabama spring game.
I'll go Jahmyr Gibbs, the new guy. I love him. Now, one thing coming up, Bryce Young probably won't get much of an opportunity to be the MVP. Right. He shouldn't. And then you have Jalen Milroe, who's the backup quarterback. It's going to be sort of like the same thing with Robbie Ashford. One of his best traits is being able to break loose, and you're not going to be able to see that. And that's probably going to take something away from his stats. And then, Ty Simpson is the other quarterback, and again, I'm not going to buy into that. Now, one guy that could be it is Jermaine Burton, the transfer from Georgia. I think one of the 2 transfers is the MVP.
It'll be interesting to see who gets that. Over under, hey, look, could be maybe a little bit low. 1.5 conference losses for Tennessee.
That's low. Come on. I mean, it's baseball. Everybody starts losing at some point. Even if at the end of the year, Tennessee's like, we've wrapped up the regular season. We got to sort of.
They'll probably end up losing 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'm saying 4 or 5. I mean,
I just hope we're one up. Which is really stupid even to say that. I mean, because that's putting you at 20. Let's just say 25-5 in league play. I don't know if I've ever seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it either. Over under 90 wins for the Braves.
Oh, I'm going under because number 1, I want it to happen. Number 2,
you hate the Braves.
I've always hated the Braves. I've been through this because they always used to take Space Giants off the air when the Braves Braves were playing.
I forgot.
And also,
you're talking about holding a grudge.
Also,
good God.
But here's the other thing. The Braves fans to me are the most fair weather, and also the most untruthful, because I haven't met a Braves fan yet that hadn't told me that's of my generation.
Right.
I stuck with him with Bob Horner. I'm like,
No, you
I
didn't.
was watching the game.
There was nobody there.
And there was nobody there. Nobody.
No.
They were begging people to come. And you telling me you were sticking with them? No, you weren't.
Yeah, nobody stuck with
And people out there listening going, I was, Luke. Okay. But I'm just telling you, maybe you were. But then everybody else is lying. And so the Braves, to me, I'm not a big baseball fan to begin with, and I'm especially not a Major League fan because I just don't like the way the Major League Baseball is run. I just don't like it.
And they're not helping themselves with some of these other rules that they've got coming in. Who you got? And this is NBA stuff. Really, to be honest with you, who cares? But at this point, Cavaliers at the Nets,
well, that's going on right now.
Game's close to being off. Clippers at Timberwolves, Bobcats at Hawks, Spurs at Pelicans. I mean, look, here, instead of talking about those four, how about the roster of the Lakers? They didn't make the playoffs. They didn't even have a close to winning record. What about LeBron James not being in the category of Michael Jordan anymore? Okay, is it say Stephen A. Smith said it? Isn't it okay to put that to rest now?
Yeah.
I mean, even with Kobe Bryant. I mean, look, Kobe Bryant continued to play banged up for a 17-win Laker team, but he never. I mean, you had to drag him off the floor.
He tore his Achilles and hit 2 free throws.
That's it. I mean, LeBron, and look, I get it. He had a bad ankle sprain, but at the end of the day, he has hopped around. He has manufactured. He has gotten rosters beyond belief of. I mean, look at this roster with Russell Wilson, Carmelo Anthony, who I know is a little bit of
Westbrook.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook, not Wilson.
He probably would have had Russell Westbrook.
Well, he would have had him too.
He would have had Russell Mayfield.
Yeah. Did you see Westbrook throw that ball up the other night to side of something's going on with him. He's got a hitch in his giddy up mentally. Okay,
I don't know
but then you got Anthony Davis. And look, I know there's a bunch of injuries, but period, when you look at those 4 guys plus what they had around them, they won 31 ball games, man. Let's just not talk about LeBron James and Michael Jordan in the same breath anymore.
And let's also,
can we just please stop?
And let's also say that we know, and I think we just all accept this, in general, the Lakers, when in doubt, are going to get the call. They're going to get the favoritism because they are the draw, and LeBron's on that team.
And when they can't win but 31 daggum games?
That's an embarrassment. And I'm with you. I've been saying forever, it's Michael Jordan, and it's not that close. And
it's really not that close.
And now, I think at one point I thought LeBron was going to take him over. I really did, and I felt like LeBron on this trajectory would. But I was wrong.
LeBron's tried everything under the sun by flipping and flopping and moving around and teaming up with the big 3 here and the big 3 there and all this kind of stuff. His truest championship, though, was when he was in Cleveland.
Was in Cleveland, yeah.
You know, and to me sometimes, you know, more people – I have more respect for him doing it there than anything he's done in L.A., anything he did in Miami. I mean, it just is what it is.
Would our whole perspective of him be changed if he had stayed in Cleveland the entire time? I think that we might all agree. If he only What if he wins 3 or 4 in Cleveland? What if he just wins 3 in Cleveland? I'm talking about now. He's 36, 37 years, 38 years old, whatever he is. I think we might consider him up there with Jordan. Just be like, look,
absolutely,
winning 3 in Cleveland is equivalent to winning 6 in Chicago.
No, I'm with you, but you know, when you go to the biggest franchise, most popular franchise, when you go and jump in with Dwayne Wade and Shaquille O'Neal, and you know, when you do all that junk, I mean, you're not. I mean, and he didn't play with Shaquille, but played with Chris Bosh and all that. I mean, he's maneuvered things to where he's got all-stars all around him, and he still can't get it done. So, up against the final break of the program. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? Then make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
At Russell Medical, our transitional care unit is a great alternative to nursing home care after a medical or surgical hospital stay. Transitional care increases strength and endurance through skilled nursing and therapy programs to promote a safe return home. Enjoy on-site therapy, private rooms, an activity center, and more. Call Russell Medical today to see if our transitional care unit is the right care for you.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. Because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment here on SportzBlitz Live. Wrapping things up, kind of look over and we'll do some rank them. We didn't even preview this. I'm going to throw these at you. I'm going to let you pick one because we don't have time to do them all. Ed O'Neill. You know Ed O'Neill?
Yeah, that's Married with Children, right?
No.
Is that somebody else?
No, that's not. No.
Who's Ed O'Neill?
Adventures of Ford Fairlane, Wayne's World, Blue Chips, Little Giants, and The Bone Collector.
Yeah, that's him, though, right?
That's Married with Children?
The Married with Children dad, isn't that him? Or is that
I guess it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not doing that one.
Andy Garcia.
No.
Vince Gill. I know you're not doing that
Yeah.
one. Art.
I'm going to be honest with you, Andy. You got to do better than this.
Everclear's guy. Is it Alexis? How do you spell? I mean, it's weird. It's
what?
Art. The guy from Everclear.
Oh,
Alex Akis or whatever. I don't know. Those
skip it. Is that it?
Terrible.
Is that all I got?
Well, let's go back. I'll go back and do Vince Gill. Since look for the love of it, Vince Gill, as far as a pretty top, country music artist, was born in 1957. That's a special year for
Damn,
Auburn
he was
fans.
born in 1957?
Yeah. On this day in
Okay.
1957. Go rest high on that mountain when I call your name. Don't let your love start slipping away. One more last chance. And Liza Jane. Do you even know any of those? I know you
Jane,
know Go
but wait
Rest
a
High on
minute.
the Mountain.
What about who was the one that did No Time to Kill and Killing Time?
That's Clint Black.
Okay, that's who I was thinking it was.
It's not. No, it's
because I always thought.
I don't even know what else. I mean, this thing's
Go back to Ed
derailed.
O'Neill, I guess.
Let's go to Ed O'Neill. We'll do that one. Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
That
Wayne's
movie
World, Blue
sucked.
Chips. Blue Chips was good.
All right, Blue Chips was good in the theory of it, but the don't put Shaq and Penny in it. They can't act. Especially then, they couldn't act. So if they had used real actors, it would have been so much better to me to and if they had really, they treated it almost, there was some moments where it was kind of campy, but it was kind of cool to see it. But boy, I thought Nick Nolte was
pretty good, wasn't
he's crazy. I like crazy Nick Nolte.
Little Giants.
I love Little Giants.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Good movie.
Yeah.
Bone Collector. That's a good movie too. Now.
Yeah, and
Serial killer movie.
I guess I hadn't seen all of it. I do remember Bone Collector because there was something about a taxi cab. The guy always picked up his victims in a taxi cab or something, right?
I think so. But it was a good movie.
But I hadn't seen it in a long time.
It's been a minute.
And Denzel's in it, so Denzel, that's going to bump that up to number one. What was he in Wayne's World?
I don't remember. I don't remember. And I don't think I've ever seen Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
That's with Andrew Dice Clay, isn't it?
Yeah, but I haven't seen it. So.
I just know I've seen bits and pieces, and it's god-awful. It is as bad as you think it could be.
All right. Hey, look, Everclear's got some pretty good songs. So I'll talk about those. Father of Mine, Santa Monica.
That's probably one.
Everything That Everyone, I Will Buy You a New Life, and Brown Eyed Girl. I mean, Everclear remake Brown Eyed Girl?
I never heard that.
Or do they have their own version of Brown Eyed Girl?
Surely to God they don't have their own version of it.
I bet that's what it is.
They've got it. They remade it.
But Father of Mine's good.
Father of Mine's great.
Santa Monica's good too. Both of those
I heard somebody on Sirius XM the other day, whoever that lead singer is, was talking about. We played Father of Mine acoustically for their manager, and they said they played it, and they heard a bunch of noise outside a closed door, and they looked out there, and all the secretaries and other people were crying. They were like, "We knew we had a hit then."
Wow,
yeah, pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. We'll close out with a positive comment. Brian, we appreciate you too. He said, thank you for this show. He said, I look forward to it every week. He said, I hope I can encourage others as you have me. And great job. Thank you for allowing me to be a guest. Hey, look, man, that's what we want. We want everybody to join us and be part of the and this thing wants to fall, but we want everybody to comment. It's what makes the show.
We only rent this equipment till 8:55.
That's right. And it said, look, it's time to go to the house because it's about to go to sleep. So, but anyway, again, thanks to everybody for joining us every Tuesday. We do have a blast out here. Look, I know football kind of drives the ship, but we talk about everything. We love high school sports. Football never stops being talked about on this program. It's 12 months a year, but I'm glad to see, we got good basketball to talk about now here.
Shoot, the NFL draft's going to be here before you know it.
The NFL draft is around the corner. It's just a lot to talk about, and we're glad that all of you tune us in. And
you know where the draft is this year?
It's Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's great. And I think next year it's in Detroit.
What a Debbie Downer that is. Good God.
You got 2 tickets to the draft, and if you don't act right, I'm going to give you 3 of them.
Somebody broke out the window of my car and left draft tickets on my front seat. That's going to wrap it up for SportzBlitz Live. We appreciate it. For Lou Robinson, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we enjoyed it. Hope you have. See you in Detroit.
Why is Sarah Automotive Group on Highway 280 in Sylacauga the place for the best deals on your new ride? 3 compelling reasons. 1. With 3 full new car dealers on one lot, you get the best in comparison and incentives on Fords, Hondas, and Nissans. Unmatched selection. 2. Sarah pays over market value for your trade to maintain East Central Alabama's best pre-owned vehicle selection and sale. And 3. The Sarah Automotive price won't be beat and delivers lower payments and huge value on your next buy. Shop online or on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Hi, John. You have messages.
Not now, phone. I'm driving.
You know you want to text your friends.
Texting and driving is illegal. No distractions, period. People die that way. Eating, putting on makeup.
Scroll through your music?
Nope.
Your girlfriend just texted. She's bored.
Sorry, not worth dying for.
Good call. She seems a little clingy.
Don't text your life goodbye. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Are you looking for something really good for lunch? Are you tired of the same old fast food? Well, go to Buck's. Get a meat and 2 sides or a meat and 3 sides for the best deal in town. Buck's always serves up the best food, including fried chicken, wings, hamburger steaks, catfish, shrimp, and yes, of course, the famous Buck Cheeseburger Basket. And Buck's has dinner specials too. So if it's your turn to cook dinner, Buck's will be glad to do it for you. We appreciate your business and look forward to serving you.
Whoever you are, wherever you race, hit the track like a champion. The YZ250F and the YZ450F Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. Only from Yamaha.